Surprise. Guess we're doing this now. I mean, you guys all thought this would come out next month, and boy, oh boy, were you wrong. Well, I guess to be fair, you only really thought that because I straight up told you that the Clinkz video would come out this time next month, but I have a habit of coming in early. I just get very excited, you know? Having said that, do keep in mind that while this intro segment has been re-recorded and edited to fit with the new Clinkz strafe, the rest of the video I wasn't so meticulous with. I mean, yeah, sure, I cut out all the bits where I say things that are just absolutely not true anymore, like strafe dodges an infinite amount of times now. Clinkz int growth is a little better now, Nullifier was nerfed a little, and sentries are way more prevalent. Well, I mean, they should be. They got the buffs and all that. I mean, I guess if I really think about it, it doesn't really change much though, does it? But everything else from the pre-recorded guide is totally on point, and so I'm keeping it exactly as it is. I immediately started theory crafting with Clinkz's rework a couple of patch notes ago. And yes, to those people with really solid memories, I'm aware that Clinkz's rework was in patch 707, which was over half a year ago. Hey man, I said I immediately started theory crafting. I didn't say I immediately finished. I mean, these things, they take time. I mean, I still haven't finished it. Hopefully by the time this video ends, I will have. I mean, that's like, what, 10 minutes? Piece of cake. But yeah, all you need to know for now is Strafe is the best spell in the game right now at this very instant. I know I said that about everything, but shut up. I love it. Strafe is great, and I think that wraps up this intro nicely. Now, let's start with the pre-recorded stuff. Strafe is the worst spell in the game. I hate it. I mean, why does it only dodge 3 attacks? If anything, they should change it to dodge an infinite amount in the next patch, you know? Either 715 or 716. And you know what? While they're at it, they should remove Wraith King's crit ability. I mean, really, we gotta talk about these things, right? It's dumb. It's super dumb. Why can you crit with an item and still trigger the effect of a spell crit? Crit Wraith King is silly. Almost as silly as the amount of damage Phoenix can output with his fire spirits. Frankly, it's overpowered. But I guess Icefrog already knows this and is probably planning on nerfing it next patch, right? It would be bizarre if he didn't. Also, a bit off topic, but have you guys heard that new movie coming out based off of the party game Truth or Dare? Boy, that'll be a hit. Clinkz, as we all know, got a rework recently, changing his strafe from just an attack speed steroid to now sort of a mix between Puck's phase shift and a 3-second moonshot buff. I mean, I don't know, it's weird, and it still doesn't really deal with the problem of Clinkz having no crowd control ability whatsoever. He is in fact the only hero in the game to not have at least one stun, slow, silence, disarm, or root out of over 114. Well, I mean, literally 150. It's exactly 150. I don't know why I said over 114. Out of 115 heroes, he is the only hero to not have anything else but damage. He doesn't have a healing aura for his team, a stun for his enemies. Man, not even one of his 8 talents gives him a crowd control spell. That's pretty wild, right? And because of all of that, I think it's pretty clear where you play him. Clinkz is a loner, hunting down lone supports who wander away from the safety of their big strong carry, like a killer in a horror movie. I mean, he's already got the look nailed down, right? So right off the bat, your biggest targets are squishy heroes who farm by themselves. Funnily enough, if they have escapes, we counted them even more. I know that's counterintuitive, but let me explain. Who's more likely to build a defensive 4-staff? A Queen of Pain or a Crystal Maiden? If we're getting Orchid, that Quap is going to realize how much he probably should have gotten a 4-staff as well. To be fair though, the CM with a 4-staff also still dies, but you know, just a little later. It's a good effort, but I mean, Clinkz will still kill you. Under that category are just spell-based heroes, Storm, Earth Spirit, maybe Juggernaut if you can imagine that. I mean, hey man, he can go magic immune, but not really escape silence, because his magic immune is based on a spell. And then there's niche heroes like Phoenix and Undying who require a certain amount of hits to break their special summons. I mean, I guess there's even another niche of Enchantress Chen and Helm of the Dominator Wisp. Deathpack's insta-kill ability ruins any strat you were planning on there, and considering 2/3 of those examples also boost the health of the creep they're on, Deathpack is worth even more. And then on the flip side, of course, there are heroes with 1,000 dispels, or 1,000 units, you know, summons, illusions, whatever it may be, or heroes who don't even really use their spells anyway. And I mean, there's a couple of them. Heroes who like attacking you fast, like LC, Axe, and Centaur. Heroes who hunt down little invisible boys. The whole crux of the issue with Clinkz having no innate crowd control is that he has to go out of his way to both farm for and spend gold on specific disabling items. There's a half dozen to pick from, and every single one of them has a major weakness. Orchid, Nullifier, Rotovatos, all of these can be dispelled with Cyclone, Lotus, or Manta. Lincoln's just counts as all of them, considering you have no other tool with which to break the shield prior. Shit, I mean, the more I vocalize this, the more I realize that Clinkz is a major design flaw. I guess one solution is just to say fuck it, not get any of these CC items, and just build only damage, eh? You know what, having said that, maybe we don't need to buy any damage at all. By level 15, we can deal 170 damage at a rate of like 3 attacks a second if we pick the right talents. Here, this is the build. Obviously maxing Searing Arrows first, but oddly we don't actually get our invis levels until much later. Turns out Strafe might be a better defensive spell these days, and it lasts for 3.5 seconds, and Blink's cooldown is 3.0. You do the math. Alright, okay, it's a 0.5 second margin. I did the math, I'm sorry, but I'm making the video here, it's my responsibility. Strafe has an instant cast, doesn't interrupt channeling spells like a TP scroll upon casting it, and disjoints projectiles as they arrive at Clinkz, which means you can cast it while the sniper ult is in midair and dodge it by the time it gets to you. And no, it does not. It doesn't dodge the fountain. But you don't have to be the one to tell your allied Clinkz that little fact. He'll find out on his own. The selling point of Strafe is its ability to dodge projectiles. Just because there's a limit to the amount of words that I'll ever say before I die, and because I don't want to have that death happen during this video, instead of reading each and every single thing this game counts as a projectile, I'll just have it scroll up behind me. For a while. Not included are the 60 individual attack projectiles from the 60 unique ranged heroes in the game, and every single attack modifier. It gets even better. This isn't even evasion. This receives the attack and then disintegrates it. It's way more than simply 100% evasion like Windrun. This is what happens when you attack a strafed Clinkz with 6 Monkey King bars. Absolutely nothing. Searing arrows are arrows that sear, I guess. Skeleton Walk, like Strafe, also has no cast time and doesn't interrupt channels. It says on the tin that it has a 20-second cooldown with a 20-second duration, which would probably make you think that it has like infinite uptime, but the 0.6 fade time it has actually eats into that 20 seconds. So if you were to cast the spell the second it comes off of cooldown again, to the enemy you'll actually appear for a split second and then fade out again. So either get one more level or make sure to cloak in trees. Death Pact is an unintuitive spell. How it works is upon casting it on a creep, any creep, lane, jungle, or summons, the game calculates the creep's current health at the time it was eaten, and then gives 8% of that as damage and 80% of that as a health bonus. It also instantly kills, so effectively an innate Midas. So let's take the big centaur, right? 80% of 1100 HP means Clinkz instantly gets 880 extra HP to his maximum and his current health. So if he's at 1 HP with a total of 800, he'll go to 881 with a total of 1680. But get this, when it's done, when it runs out, it only takes away the maximum health. So you don't go back to 1 HP, you go back to 881 HP with an 800 maximum, which obviously doesn't work, so the game just fills you up to 800 and sends you on your way. All of this effectively means free heals, right? Not to mention, of course, the 88 extra damage we get for absolutely nothing. Without a single item at level 18, if we steal the biggest creep we can find, we can hit for over 300 damage without items. So let's talk about it with items. The one thing that really sucks about Clinkz is that, well, yes, he may have crazy high damage, this sort of paradoxically means that he's not really that good at last hitting. Ice Frog decided to balance out his high damage by pretty much having one step down from alarm bells and klaxons going off every time he winds up for an attack. He orchestrates it so hard, and he has an insane delay before he actually sends the attack. It's so long that an enemy can see you winding up for an attack, go to the dentist, come home, and then deny the creep you were wanting to last hit before the arrow even leaves your bow. I mean, I'm all for realism, and yes, a guy with absolutely no muscle mass is gonna struggle to pull a bowstring back. But dang dude, just make it like a magical bow and let us actually pull it back in this decade. To compensate for all of this, we of course buy even more damage. Start off with Wraithband, Branch, and Fairy Fire. Our goal is to get so much damage that we can last hit much earlier than the enemy can deny. Here, if we have 1000 damage, it doesn't even matter if the enemy sees the creep that we're about to attack next yet, because he doesn't have the 1000 damage needed to deny it. Build Aquila, Boots, and then decide on your mana item. Every Clinkz game needs one. Typically it's Orchid, but in games where Silent isn't really that useful, you can go Medallion, Soul Ring, even just a raw Voidstone for Scythe much later. And then go Diffusal. Diffusal no longer has a dispel, yes, but it does, yet again, add 60 damage per hit, and it's the cheapest item in the game that Clinkz could feasibly buy for CC. I mean, there's also Cyclone, but you also want to be attacking as Clinkz. And hey, we've done it. We've finally got a crowd control ability on Clinkz. Other CC items include, of course, Orchid, Nullifier, Scythe, maybe Sergeant Yasha, and Desolator. Desolator's a special case. And of course, Helm of the Dominator, which technically counts depending on the creep that you dom. And by the way, you can death pack dominated creeps, which opens up even more doors. At the end of this video, I've just discovered that this is actually just a part 1, dude, because there's also another 10 minutes completely for just talking about Dominator Clinkz, including how to solo Roche. Clinkz is complex. At the end of this video, we've only scratched the surface of this guy. Oh, and ignore the fact that I have a 28% win rate with him. Actually, I probably shouldn't have even brought it up.